challenger, Eleoncio Speedy Mercedes. His opponent, ladies and gentlemen, on my right, out of the white corner, the defending champion, wearing red, white, and green outfit from Merida in the beautiful Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. He weighs an even 111 pounds. The flyweight champion of the world, they call him El Loco Freddy Castillo.
En el vestidor, ya saben las reglas, quiere una limpia pelea. Cuando están en un clinch, les voy a decir una palabra, fuera. Eso quiere decir que suelten y que se paren limpiamente. El que marque caída va a la esquina neutral y usted se dice.
Castillo looking rather tranquil, considering the moment. His championship on the line, his first defense. Scheduled for 15 rounds. They'll score it in the 10-point must system. No 3 knockdown rule. Castillo in the red. Mercedes in the green. And we're underway.
And as you mentioned, there is some genuine ill will between these two fighters, not the usual pre-fight hype. That, I think, could work more against Mercedes than it would Castillo, because Mercedes needs to be the technician, the boxer. He cannot engage in a slugging match with Castillo, I don't believe.
Shocking news is that out on the sidewalks where gentlemen wager money on bouts before the fights tonight, and in the gyms this week, Mercedes was established as an 8-5 favorite, even though he's the challenger.
A rare situation and a little bit surprising in this fight.
The reasoning is that Mercedes has been more active in recent months.
Castillo
is very sharp in the gym.
That's right. Castillo has tended to get rusty, and Castillo, like another favorite announced here who we saw clips of, Bazooka Limon, tends to get a little bit wild. He's not the most stylish fighter in the ring, but he has power, and he's very aggressive, and he's a dogged competitor.
Alessandro Mercedes in the green from the Dominican Republic, Freddy Castillo in the red from the Yucatan, Mexico.
And there's a wild looping left, and it's so reminiscent of Bazooka Limon, just as I mentioned it.
Both fighters flat-footed in the center of the ring. You can sense the feeling out process is almost done with.
Good lead right hand by Mercedes, another one, and that will be an important weapon for him in this fight.
Halfway through the opening round.
And he's able to land that jab early in this fight. Good uppercut and a right by Mercedes again.
Countering right hand by the challenger in the green. Flush on the jaw of the champion, Castillo. Less than a minute to go in the opening round. Castillo with a very tranquil look on his face.
There are some similarities between this fight and the Joey Olivo fight, with Mercedes being the boxer who, during these early rounds, may pick apart Castillo, but don't count Castillo out because he's such a good competitor and can come on in the later rounds.
A partial blow by Mercedes in the top of the head of Castillo. Challenger looking good. A swat of a right hook by the champion in the top of the head of Mercedes. Another right hook by Mercedes, but a countering left by Mercedes. Crowd getting edgy. They want the champ to do some more. He's obviously taking a long look at the challenger. The red lights are on. We come to the end of round 1. A poster of the late Salvador Sanchez of Mexico, one of his fans, in memoriam, as we continue on with this flyweight championship fight, round 2. That's Freddy Castillo in the red, who took a good look at his challenger, Alessandro Mercedes in the green during the first round. A right-left combination by the challenger on the head of Castillo.
And because of the number of punches landed by Mercedes, I gave him that round, despite the fact that at the end, Castillo was coming on, cornered him against the ropes, and was working for the body.
Incredibly, Castillo fought the first round without his mouthpiece. They forgot to give him his mouthpiece. He forgot to take it. Matter of fact, he came back to the corner and smiled at his handlers. Said, "Give me the mouthpiece."
Strange occurrence. Caio Hernandez in his corner, and he's a veteran. I'm shocked that happened.
Well, they've got the mouthpiece for him now, and Castillo wraps Mercedes with a left hand. The southpaw in the green just got away with a low blow.
And you see the head movement and the lateral foot movement by Mercedes. That's what he's so good at. He wants to confuse Castillo in this fight. Castillo pretty much a come-forward fighter.
Castillo, the left-hander in the red trunks, takes a right-left combination. The first punch was an uppercut.
Good hand speed by Mercedes. Mercedes is not known as a devastating puncher, so though he may land a lot of punches, he's not the kind of fighter to put you out with one.
Oh, he said all week he's going to try and beat Castillo with the movement and his boxing ability.
And there's that jab again in the head.
Right hand by Mercedes, a left hand by Castillo, who gives Mercedes a big grin after he tagged him. Castillo predicted an early knockout.
Well, if he's going to knock him out early, he's going to have to get inside that jab and straight right hand. Good left by Castillo.
He drilled him with that left hand, backed him up to the ropes, and there's a little bit of a swelling of the left cheekbone of Mercedes. Right hand lead by Mercedes. Another one. Not too much impact, however.
Good uppercut by Mercedes a moment ago. That will be important for him. He's got to hit his opponent as he's ducking under.
Less than 30 seconds to go in the second round. Mercedes, the challenger, getting ever so closer to the champion, and that's where Freddy Castillo wants him, a close quarter.
That's right. It would be a mistake for him to get in close and trade with Castillo.
Castillo with the left hand high on the forehead of Mercedes. Final seconds, round two. A body shot by Castillo. Castillo backs up Mercedes with a jab, hits him with the left hand, misses wildly with the left at the bell. We're looking into round three at the Olympic in Los Angeles. Freddy Castillo in the red, the WBC's flyweight champion, taking on the challenger Alessandro Mercedes in the green. Mercedes with a bit of a bump on his left cheekbone. He takes a right jab from the champion.
And Mercedes wants this fight fought in the center of the ring, and by and large, it's been fought there. He has not allowed Castillo to trap him against the ropes very often in these first two rounds.
Left hand by Castillo.
While I had the first round for Mercedes, the second round I had even. So I've got Mercedes ahead by 1 point. Both very close rounds.
Castillo tried a body blow. It was below the waistband. Gets a warning from the referee.
And one of the things Castillo wants to do is get inside where he can work to the body. He hasn't been there yet in this fight.
He just threw a looping left hand that caught Mercedes on the head. Right hand lead by Mercedes, and then a left hook, and he caught Castillo on the head with both punches. Another lead right by the challenger in the green.
And I am really struck with the similarity of this fight and the Lamone Choi fight. With Mercedes taking the role of Chanyo Choi and Castillo very much like Bazooka Lamone.
Laying back, waiting for the opportunity to spring his assault. We're halfway through round three.
And you see Mercedes get off those ropes.
He said he would try to outbox Castillo.
Mercedes is pawing with the straight right hand, and that could be a dangerous tactic because if it lays out there, he'll get hit with the countering left from Castillo.
Castillo's short with the left. Quiet round, less than a minute to go, and Castillo takes 2 wraps on the head from the challenger.
Obviously, the edge and hand speed certainly goes to Mercedes, but edge and power would have to go to Castillo.
The crowd very much in favor of Castillo begins to chant. Right hand by Mercedes, another right hand by Mercedes. A good round for the challenger. But he takes a straight left from Castillo, and Castillo gives him another grin. Less than 30 seconds to go in the third. Mercedes most effective here in the third round.
Look at the good head movement from Mercedes, making it tough for Castillo to hit him.
That'll take care of round 3. Third, Mercedes was pecking pretty good and scoring, and a couple of times Castillo caught him, but Al, I think that the third round went to the challenger.
I would think so also, and Castillo did land a couple of big looping left hooks, but by and large Mercedes was able to land combinations, and I don't think they hurt Castillo, but they landed points.
You still get the feeling, though, that the champion is taking his time with Mercedes, taking a real good look at him, wants to get him at close quarters. We're into round 4, scheduled for 15. Left hand by Castillo in the red.
And I've got this fight still in the favor of Mercedes. I've got him ahead 30-28 after 3 rounds.
A low blow by Castillo. The referee, Larry Diaz, telling him to raise the punch. All eyes here in the Olympic in Los Angeles on these two gentlemen in the ring. WBC's flyweight champion in the red connects with a looping left hand. And another. The second shot had some power on it.
But Mercedes came back with his own good straight right hand. And now he shoots the jab out.
Castillo fighting with his hands low, almost inviting Mercedes to throw punches at him.
He's leading with his head, but this may be a tactic on his part. He may say, come on, hit me with your best, and we'll see what happens in a few rounds.
Body shot by Castillo. You can hear that in the last row. They bring up the chant again. Body shot by Castillo. Mercedes, I think, was hurt by that second body shot.
That temporarily stunned him, it looked like.
We're halfway through round 4. Could it be the same script as you said? Bazooka Limon taking out the challenger Choi with a body shot in round 7.
I don't like to belabor that, but this fight is so similar to it. Everything about it, the styles of the two fighters, and Castillo now getting to the body a little bit, as Limon did.
Castillo did not throw any big body shots until this round. He's thrown 2 left hands to the body, to the right side of Mercedes, what they call in the gyms the liver shot. And both of those punches hurt Mercedes. Another body shot by the champion.
Mercedes continues to peck away, but the difference is Castillo is getting inside much better than he did in those first few rounds. There's another right to the body.
And Castillo's leading with his face. He's wide open, but Mercedes not taking advantage. Less than 30 seconds to go in the 4th. Lead right hand, no impact by Mercedes.
And this will test the judges. Do you like the aggressiveness of Castillo or the pecking away of Mercedes? And a good right by Mercedes.
Mercedes threw a double jab and then a right cross. It looked pretty, but Castillo is clear-eyed, and he no longer has that tranquil look. He looks like a killer now. We've come down to the end of round number 4, and the fight has turned. Freddy Castillo wrapped Mercedes twice with body shots in the previous round. The 4th, they did have an effect. Castillo comes out here in the 5th, and he has closed the difference between himself and the challenger. He's going at it now.
And those body shots made a big difference. Mercedes was still landing very effectively with a lot of counter punches in the last round, but they were not slowing Castillo up.
Right hand by Mercedes. We're in the 5th, scheduled for 15.
Look at the good head movement by Mercedes. He's a very fine defensive fighter.
Right hand by Mercedes on the head of Castillo.
And I think in his corner they told Castillo, if you can't hit him in the head, go to the body. And that's exactly what he did in that last round. There's another left hand downstairs.
Left hand to the right rib cage of Mercedes.
It is so obvious that Castillo is throwing almost exclusively to the body and doing a good job of it. The last round I gave to Castillo, but a very narrow margin in that round. I think that round really could have gone either way because Mercedes landed good counter punches.
Right hand lead by Mercedes.
And Castillo shows us some good defensive ability of his own, slipping those punches. We haven't seen that earlier from him.
Right hand by the challenger halfway through the round. He was out there for Castillo. Castillo threw a half punch. Couldn't take advantage of the fact that Mercedes was out of position. Left-right combination by Mercedes on Castillo's head.
Mercedes, a very good ring technician, but in this round has gotten a little bit wild on occasion, and that could cost him against Castillo.
Less than a minute to go in round 5. Question here, can the slick boxer outmaneuver the big banger? And the big banger being Freddy Castillo, the champion. Right hand lead by Mercedes. Castillo came back with a left to the body.
And that left-right combination by Mercedes, good punches, that did not move Castillo an inch. Good indication that Mercedes not that big a banger, and Castillo has a good chin.
Notice how Castillo is bending forward, his hands down low, and he is a target, an easy target for Mercedes. But Mercedes doesn't have the extraordinary power. Mercedes on the ropes. Castillo cannot take advantage. Castillo with a left to the body. Castillo winging punches and taking punches, and he's trying to show the challenger that he cannot be hurt by Mercedes. The crowd on its feet, they love the macho man stance of the champion.
When he came in leading with his chin, flailing away for his trouble, he took some very good counter shots by Mercedes.
And there's a good argument that Mercedes won that round.
In my estimation, I would think he did. And here we see Castillo. He's very wild. And you'll see him take some, I believe, take some counter punches. Well, not in that sequence, but perhaps in this one. There we go.
Castillo wide open, making faces at Mercedes.
There's a good right hand.
Took a pretty good right hand there. Trying to prove that he's the stronger of the two. Probably lost the round.
I would think so.
Eleoncio Mercedes from the Dominican Republic feels like a stranger here in Los Angeles. Of course, the boxing crowd, obviously pro Freddy Castillo, who's from the Yucatan of Mexico.
And this is turning into a fascinating tactical matchup.
Round 6, scheduled for 15. Castillo opens up with a lead left hand, the southpaw, drilling Mercedes on the head. This is Castillo's first defense.
And small indications, it has not been an easy one.
Mercedes 40 wins, 11 defeats, 4 draws. Mercedes 16, 6, and 4.
That's how I see it after 5 rounds, with Mercedes with a 2-point edge. These have been close rounds, though, so I wouldn't be shocked to see it go the other way either.
Left hand by Castillo, the champion who has 24 knockouts in his 40 wins. High knockout ratio. He missed badly there with the big left hand. That little bump on the cheekbone, left cheekbone of Mercedes is still a little bump. Not a factor. A couple of jabs by the champion. Back to Mercedes with a couple of jabs of his own.
And that jab from Castillo has, we have not seen it very often in this fight. Might be a good weapon for him to be on track now.
Right to the body by the challenger. We're halfway through the 6th.
Good right hand, and Mercedes needs to remain disciplined as he's been in this round, not get wild. He's fought within himself in this round. That's what he needs to do, despite the bullying and wild tactics that Castillo sometimes employs.
Lead right hand by the challenger, right on the noggin.
But those punches do nothing to Castillo. They're landing points, but Castillo just is not driven backwards by those punches.
Another right hand, both by the challenger Mercedes in the green. Less than a minute to go in round 6.
That last right hand had to be as good a right as Mercedes can throw. It was a textbook right hand, did nothing to Castillo.
And Mercedes just whacked Castillo again with the right hand. The champion just gave him another wild look, as if to say, you didn't hurt me. Now here in the 6th, once again, Mercedes been quite accurate with his punching. A case could be made that he's stealing another round from the champion.
Well, I think there's a strong case for that. He's been landing a great volume of punches and doing a good job of boxing.
And in this round, Mercedes is more effective blocking the body punching of Castillo.
That's a very good point. He's brought his arms down a little bit.
We head for the bell. The champion is suddenly sensing the round coming to a close, trying to be more aggressive. Right hand by Mercedes. We'll have more as we continue with Saturday night at the fight. Sal Marciano with Al Bernstein, ringside at the Olympic in Los Angeles, live as we present Saturday night at the fights, featuring the WBC's flyweight champion Freddy Castillo in the red, stalking the challenger Eleoncio Mercedes. Castillo from Mexico, Mercedes from the Dominican Republic. No knockdowns in the fight, no cuts. Al, how do you have it so far?
Well, I continue to have Mercedes ahead, 59-56. I certainly thought that last round was his. Castillo landed some good body punches, but Mercedes very effective counter punches.
We saw some body work by the champion in the 4th. He was not as effective in the 5th and 6th rounds. Mercedes scoring with a left hand in the middle of the ring.
Mercedes says outside the ring he likes to dance, and we've seen plenty of that inside tonight. He's used this ring very, very well. Can he do it for 15 rounds, though? That is a key question. And that's where he doesn't want to be, in the corner. But he wheels his way out.
Mercedes in the low blow gets a referee's warning from Larry Rosadilla. Castillo coiled for action. Hasn't been able yet to really unload on the challenger. Triple jab by Mercedes. Halfway through the round. A left to the body by Castillo.
And look at Mercedes get off those ropes. Very effective, but there's a good left hand by Castillo.
That drilled him right between the eyes. A left cross by Castillo, and that brought a rise out of the crowd. They're pro-Castillo here. You can safely assume they bet the rent money on the champion tonight. Less than a minute to go. In round 7, Castillo takes a right hand.
And if they did, they were going against the odds makers that feel Mercedes is the favorite.
That's right. The challenger is 8-5 favorite before fight time.
And he's showing us why tonight. Very crisp performance.
Once again, a left-right combination by Mercedes in the green on the head of Castillo, the champion.
And immediately when he lands those combinations, he wheels away, so he won't get in an exchange with Castillo.
Final seconds, round 7. And the plot is thickening. The challenger is piling up points. Right hand by Castillo and left hook by Castillo. Castillo switches lefty on the champion. We'll be right back. At the bell, Freddy Castillo with a looping left hand taken by the challenger Eleoncio Mercedes, and he walked crisply back to his stool. He wasn't hurt by the punch.
Well, that's the kind of looping left hand that Castillo will try and land throughout this fight, and that may be his best hope. That and getting inside and going to the body.
We're ready for round 8. Same punch, another angle. Watch the champion in red. Bang. Back live for round 8, scheduled for 15. Castillo, the champion in red. Mercedes, the challenger in green. Al, how did you have the last round?
Well, I gave that last round to Mercedes also, despite the fact that he did some damage, the champion did. I thought Mercedes landed more punches.
So you've got the challenger ahead at this point.
I've got the challenger ahead 69-65, so that's a pretty big margin, and some people may dispute that, and indeed, these rounds are very close. There is that intangible, the champion's edge in scoring, but I'm trying to discount that in my scoring.
Mercedes continues to poke away at the champ. So far, he has been walking the cliff's edge here. He's been getting away with outboxing the champion. Left hand by Mercedes, and he gets out of the way of the corner.
And this fight is a good example of the fact that to use effective foot movements, you don't have to be dancing the whole fight. As long as you dance away from trouble when it exists, then you're doing a good job.
Right hand by Mercedes. Big right hand by Mercedes. Castillo continues to walk forward, however. Castillo with the left hand. Mercedes takes the roughest punch of the fight.
That one stunned him, and it was when he turned southpaw. When Mercedes turns southpaw, he has a problem.
Mercedes fighting very smartly here. He's been evasive, but he has certainly been scoring points.
And as this crowd chants for Castillo, that's another factor. What effect will this crowd have on the judges? They're obviously pro Freddy Castillo.
Mercedes just drilled the champion with a lead right, comes back with a left-right combination. Castillo a little bit on the take here. Less than 30 seconds to go in the round. Right hand by Mercedes, and he gets out of the corner.
And he's giving Castillo all kinds of head movement, making it difficult for Freddy to land a shot to the head.
Right hand by Mercedes. Castillo walked right into it. Left hand by Castillo gets a rise out of the crowd, but must point out, a very good round for Mercedes. Castillo, the champion in the red, ends the round with a big looping left hand. But that last round, Mercedes was highly effective with his boxing style. We're into the ninth. Our translator, Bob Abadoy, told us that between rounds in the champion's corner, they told Freddy Castillo to be more of a boxer. Switch in strategy.
A strange switch in strategy. He's got to bring the fight to Mercedes, I think.
I think it's obvious that through the first 8 rounds, the champion lost most of the rounds, and now he's got to rally.
Now, this might sound strange, but if I was in Castillo's corner, I would tell him to go to more mauling and brawling tactics. When you get him in the corner, hold him there. Lean on him. Try and work to the body. He's got to rough up Mercedes a little bit. I'm not suggesting illegal tactics, but I think he's got to make Mercedes know he is in a brawl.
A lead left hand by Castillo. And that caught Mercedes.
And again, the crowd picks up the chant for Castillo. He is their favorite son. There's no question about that.
Castillo with a shot below the belt, and then a left cross on the chin of Mercedes. And the champ got away with that low blow without a warning from the referee.
And in this round, Mercedes is leaning a bit and lunging, and that could be dangerous against Castillo.
Right hand by Mercedes in that last exchange. Right hand lead by Mercedes. Looping left by the champion, Castillo. Singular punches, very few combination punching here. They've got a quiet kind of a round. Right hand lead by Mercedes. Right to the body by the champion. Less than a minute to go in the round. Another low blow by the champion, and he gets away with it.
And notice Mercedes getting off those ropes whenever he's in trouble. He's done a great job of doing that tonight.
A couple of right-hand leads by the challenger. Right hook by the champion, Castillo. Left hand by Castillo. Castillo with a right hook.
And on the outside is when Castillo must be busy.
And Castillo just walked into a right hand. Less than 30 seconds to go in the round. Right hand by Mercedes. For all of Castillo's razzle-dazzle and big hooks, Castillo has been taking a lot of punches from Mercedes. We continue on with this WBC Flyweight Championship fight live from the Olympic in Los Angeles. We begin the 10th at the Olympic. Freddy Castillo, the champion, in the red. Eliasando Mercedes in the green, the challenger. Testing the skills of the judges here at ringside in this WBC Championship fight. The age-old question, do you give a round to the boxer who scores more frequently, or do you give the round to the slugger who hits him with a couple of big blows?
It does come down to preference. There's no question about it. Mercedes is landing more often. There's no doubt about that. Castillo perhaps has more power. I think the problem from Castillo's standpoint is he is not landing as often as he would like, and there's been no evidence that Mercedes has been hurt. But again, he's a champion, Castillo, and he has been coming forward through much of this fight, so that may weigh on the judge's mind. It obviously isn't weighing on mine as heavily because I've got Mercedes ahead 89-84.
Another right hand by the challenger on the head of the champion. Mercedes has been scoring more often than Castillo. Castillo has been throwing the bigger bombs. But like you said, Al, he has never hurt Mercedes. And Mercedes has been piling up points. It is how you look at it. It's obviously subjective.
And there was a graphic example when he had Mercedes against the ropes. Mercedes was able to wheel away without getting any more punches thrown against him. And there's a left hand misses. Mercedes comes back with a right that just glances off the head of Castillo. There's no question, though, that this is a very, very competitive fight.
In the last few seconds, Mercedes hit Castillo with 4 punches without a response. Countering left hand by the challenger.
And then Mercedes comes back with a jab.
Mercedes with 3 right hands, switches lefty and takes a left hand from the champion. That happened earlier, Al, and he got whacked too. He shouldn't be doing that.
I think he makes a big mistake when he switches to the southpaw stance. That is when Castillo's had his best, really done his best work in this fight.
We're in the final minute of round 10, scheduled for 15.
There's a right and a left by Mercedes. And a big right hand as Castillo misses with a right. And the referee steps in because he does not like Mercedes moving Castillo around the ring.
He spun the champion around and drilled him with a right hand. A lead right by Mercedes. Castillo with 2 left hands. The first to the body, second to the head.
And another lead right by Mercedes. That is what Castillo has not been able to counter, the right hand from Mercedes.
Right hand by the challenger. We're counting punches in Los Angeles. We'll continue with this WBC Flyweight Championship fight after this timeout.
A point away?
We're back at ringside here. You see Mercedes spinning Castillo around and then wrapping him. Referee coming in, Larry Rosadia. And for that, they have taken a point away from Mercedes. That occurred in the 10th round.
That is nothing short of shocking in my estimation. In a championship fight, I'm astounded that that would be something that a point would be taken away for.
I think you would see that in an amateur fight, not a professional fight, but it has occurred. It's a matter of record. They took a point away from the challenger, Mercedes, in the 10th because of that spinning move and then hitting Castillo when his guard was down. We're in the 11th. Now Castillo trying to get closer to the challenger. He understands that he's behind in this fight. That's our unofficial view, but there's a good case that in the first 10 rounds, most of them went to the challenger.
Well, in this case, it is really, in my estimation, 98-93. Because I had to change it to 9-9 in that last round when we realized the point was taken away. In any case, I would have Mercedes ahead, but who knows?
In boxing, the champion always gets
the
benefit of the doubt.
And there's the update on the scoring there. I apologize, but that I had to wait until I knew the point was taken away. Now, Mercedes cannot afford to get into a slugging match with Castillo here. That is obvious. And as the fight wears on and fatigue becomes a factor, Mercedes may not be able to use all this ring and continue to pepper away at long range.
Right hook by Castillo, the champion. And Castillo no longer making faces at his challenger. He's dead serious in there now.
As well he should be.
Countering right hand by Mercedes, and he spins out of the corner.
There we see Mercedes hits him with the right and gets away. And again, he shoots out a jab and a straight right hand.
Right hand by the challenger, and he spins away from the corner again.
And those looping left hands are missing more often by Castillo.
Alessandro Mercedes, the challenger of the Dominican Republic, playing the artful dodger here. Gets out of the corner once again, delivers a right hand to the head of the champion.
And you see Castillo, there is no quit in him. He will come forward for as long as this fight lasts. And both fighters missing more often here toward the end of this fight.
And we're looking for signs of fatigue. We've seen none from either fighter. Less than 30 seconds to go in the round. Right uppercut by Mercedes. Mercedes with two pretty pat right hands. Castillo comes back with a right hook, but the challenger in the green trunks looking sharp. Right hand by Mercedes, left hand by Castillo at the bell. Well, tension grows and grows here in the Olympic. A lot of quizzical looking fans discussing it now because we have had a fight now through 11 rounds in which the challenger has done a pretty good job against the champion.
And here we see Castillo landing. It was a right by Mercedes, but Castillo, I think, will come back with one of his wild shots. Well, he didn't. Actually, Mercedes got in that right hand. This crowd enjoying what they're seeing, as well they should be. This has been an entertaining and very interesting match. And there we see that poster of Salvador Sanchez.
The late, great featherweight champion of the world. Looking into the corner of Freddy Castillo. And of course, they wanted to go out there and attack. They don't want to take anything for granted. Remember, of course, our view, unofficial. But this is really an intriguing fight. Round 12, scheduled for 15. Neither man has been down or cut. Mercedes been fighting with a bit of a bump on his left cheekbone since the outset, but it has never been a factor.
And courtesy of our Bob Avedon, he said that they told Castillo, quit fooling around, go get this guy. I think he's been trying for about 11 rounds.
We apologize for any interruption in our telecast from Los Angeles. The technical difficulties have been taken care of, and we're right back on the beam here. Round 12. Still in the opening minute.
And we want to look for signs, I think, at this point from Mercedes, whether he will slow down a bit. Can he still move out of trouble as he has earlier in this fight? As we're into the 12th round.
Left hand by Mercedes as he got out of the corner, but he was caught by a left hand of Castillo. Castillo now with a left hand. Mercedes with a combination. That was a 5-punch combination. Big looping left by Castillo. And microcosm, that was the fight.
Absolutely. That is exactly what this fight has been. Flurries from Mercedes, but one big bomb from Castillo.
Right to the body by the challenger. Couple of body shots by Castillo, and Mercedes did not tarry. He got out of the corner.
Castillo has simply not been able to keep Mercedes against those ropes.
We're halfway through the round. Left hand by the champion. Castillo stalking, pressing forward. But Mercedes getting him to side, getting out of the corner. Less than a minute to go in the round.
And again, good head movement from Mercedes.
Right hand by the challenger. Mercedes is giving boxers a textbook example of how to score and yet be evasive. Big left hand by Castillo, the champion. The crowd will cheer anything that Castillo does.
And again, there's the straight right twice by Mercedes.
Castillo came back with a left hand. Castillo with another left hand. He misses wildly. So does Mercedes. Less than 30 seconds to go in the round. Both fighters slowing down now as we approach the end of round 12. We can see signs of fatigue. Right hand lead by Mercedes. We'll have more on Saturday night at the fight. The champion Castillo in the red, pressing his attack at the end of round 12, and he knocked back the challenger a couple of steps with that left hand. And there you see that combination midway through the round by the challenger, Eleoncio Mercedes.
And as you pointed out, that is the fight in microcosm. The one bomb from Castillo, but the combinations from Mercedes.
A great deal of concern in Castillo's corner. Our translator, Avelar, told us that they keep telling him to attack Mercedes. Go at him. And now the champion has a cut on his left eyebrow. He obviously was cut at the end of the round. They worked on it between rounds, and blood is coming from the left eyebrow of Freddy Castillo, the champion in red. And he hits Mercedes with a left hand, sends it back a couple of feet. Castillo's got to go for broke here. That's a dangerous cut. It's not a nick.
And of course, those straight right hands that Mercedes has been landing all night can easily find the mark to that left eye. We talked about fatigue as far as Mercedes is concerned. That's also a factor with Castillo because he's the one who's pressing, coming in, and taking, I think, many more punches than he's giving out.
Left to the body by Castillo. Mercedes spins away from the ropes. That left hand on the shoulder. Castillo missed. Castillo connects with a left hand in the center of the ring on the head of Mercedes.
Well, you see my scoring. I've got Mercedes ahead. And the margin has grown here in the last few rounds, but again, that's unofficial. We don't know how the judges are scoring it. And Castillo certainly in this fight.
He's got a cut left eyebrow, blood dripping out. And of course, Mercedes throwing darts at that cut. A whack of a right hook by the champion, lots of noise. That left hand high in the head of Mercedes. Mercedes switches lefty again and eats a right hand. Now goes back to the righty style and scores with the lead right hand. Mercedes takes a left on the head by Castillo, the champion.
And in this round, perhaps I think Castillo's best in the last 5 or 6. He is pressing the attack very well, and perhaps we're seeing some signs of fatigue from Mercedes. Not able to reel out of trouble quite as well as he did before.
Mercedes throwing out those jabs, comes in with a right hand behind him. Less than a minute to go in the round. They've got a lot of work to do on that cut of Castillo.
Good jab by Castillo. And another one, and he's been able to work the body in this round. A different Freddy Castillo in this round.
The cut spurred him on. It ignited the champion. He just took a left hook, however, from Mercedes.
And Mercedes is trading with him much more than he did earlier in the fight and much more than he wants to.
Right hand by Mercedes. Less than 30 seconds to go in round 13.
The blood trickling down from that cut on the left eye.
There's no question there's less movement now from the challenger Mercedes because he's tired. And of course, that's what Castillo is banking on. Wants to catch him in a solid position. The red light is on. A left hook by Mercedes on the head of Castillo. Another left hook by Mercedes. They're in Mercedes' corner, and he gets hit after the bell by Mercedes, the challenger. There's Castillo. They got to work on that cut. He's taking his time sitting down.
I think he was stunned by that left hook that hit him just before the round and the shot that hit him after the round. So as Lupi Sanchez looks in and tries to do some work on Freddy Castillo. He's got his work cut over the left eye of Castillo, and there you get a very good look at it. And as you pointed out, that's not just a nip.
He was cut at the end of the 12th round. Left eyebrow. However, it ignited the champion. He fought extremely well in the 13th.
May have been his best round in the fight, or certainly in the last 5 or 6 rounds.
Also applying ice on his left cheekbone. So we're heading down the stretch now. Round 14 coming up. Alessandro Mercedes in the green, the challenger, has been pecking and poking and getting away with it. Castillo in the red now, opens up with a left hand on the head of Mercedes. Another left hand by the champion. Another left hand by the champion. Remember, Mercedes is certainly more fatigued, and he's not moving side to side as he was doing so effectively earlier in the fight. This is the way Al Bernstein has the fight unofficially.
Gave the last round to Castillo, so he closed the gap a bit, at least as far as I'm concerned. Mercedes with the jab and a straight right hand trying to keep Castillo off him, and that's important at this juncture in the fight.
Good right hand by Mercedes, a left hook by Mercedes. You have to wonder if all the personal strife of the champion had some effect on him tonight.
Well, there have been points in this fight when his performance, in my mind, has really lacked definition, if you will. He has not been maybe concentrating as much as he'd like.
Although he won the championship a few months ago, this year Castillo wrecked 3 cars, his house burned down, and his wife of 12 years left him a month ago with the 7 children. So perhaps he came in tonight a little too overconfident and perhaps with too many worries about his personal life. At any rate, he has really got a rumble here in this challenge by Alessandro Mercedes.
And Mercedes just landed a good straight right hand. But again, those punches are not hurting Castillo, but they're landing.
We're halfway through the 14th round. Right hand by Mercedes. Left hand by the champion Castillo. Mercedes continues to drill the champion here. Mercedes goes lefty. And he scores with a left hand on the head of the champion.
And this is the first sequence in which he's changed to southpaw that he's been effective. That's the first time in the fight that that tactic has worked for him.
We're in the last minute of the next to last round.
And this round will test the judges. Castillo has pressed the attack, but Mercedes again has done such a good job of counterpunching.
No question about it. Mercedes is willing now to trade with the champion. The cut not a factor in this round. Pretty good job with the corner. Less than 30 seconds to go in the 14th. That cut on the left eyebrow inflicted on Castillo with a 12th.
And Mercedes backing Castillo up. A difference in this fight, and Castillo is not the kind of fighter who likes to fight backing up.
Right to the body by the challenger, right to the head by Mercedes. The champion not looking good here in the final 30 seconds. Right hand by Mercedes as we head for the bell, marking the end of the 14th. Action from the 14th round. Castillo whacking Mercedes with the left cross. Al, how did you see that round?
Well, despite that one punch that Castillo landed, I thought that round went to that man, Eleoncio Mercedes. He landed some very good combinations. At the end of the round, I think he had Castillo in some trouble.
We're now set for the 15th and final round. Al Bernstein's unofficial tally, 137-131.
Now, you have to build in the fact that champions often get the benefit of the doubt. Good left hand by Castillo.
The champion opens up with a left cross. A big whack on the head of the challenger, Alessandro Mercedes. Mercedes backing up here in the 15th.
And you get the feeling that Castillo feels he's behind also and has to go for broke.
That slice on the left eyebrow has not reopened as yet. The champion fighting with a cut on the left eyebrow since the 12th round.
And Mercedes must back him up in this round, prevent him from coming forward.
Mercedes with a lead right hand. He caught the champion. Castillo with a left hand. Backed up the challenger. Now they're in the corner. Right hook by the champ. Another right hook. Both on the head of Mercedes. Mercedes really looking arm-weary now.
He's not showing us the kind of movement he showed us early in this fight. He has never been 15 rounds before, so that's a serious factor as we head into this last round.
Left hand by Castillo, and back comes the grimace and the mocking as he knows he connected on Mercedes. Left hand again by Castillo. The champion finishing strongly. Right by Mercedes on the head of Castillo. The cut has not reopened. We're halfway through the last round. If Mercedes survives this round, this decision is going to be controversial.
No question.
Right hand lead by Mercedes. Mercedes with a right uppercut. Castillo eats a right hand. Throws a left. They grapple for the referee, Larry Rosadillo.
And Mercedes is in some very dangerous territory. He is trading punch for punch with Castillo.
And in the middle of the ring, they're just throwing leather at each other. Less than a minute to go. And Mercedes not playing it safe. He's trading with the champion. We're in the last minute of the fight. And it has been a treat. Mercedes with a left hook. Castillo can't get punching room. Mercedes has been more effective in the last minute by fighting at close quarters. A right and a left by Mercedes. Less than 30 seconds to go in the fight. Freddy Castillo making his first defense as the WBC Flyweight champion may be in jeopardy. Left hand by Mercedes. Left hook by Mercedes. Less than 10 seconds to go. Mercedes with a left hook that turned the champion around. The red light is on. They'll go the full 15.
Did this crowd love it? I guess so. Look at Castillo as we saw him in his corners. Plenty of fatigue, and that's Eleoncio Mercedes. He thinks he may be on the verge of capturing a title.
Well, the drama is still high here. We don't have the official decision. But if you were scoring at home, you had to face the age-old problem. Do you score around for a fighter who connected with more punches, or do you give it to the fighter who scored with a bigger wallop? They're already throwing coins in the ring here at the Olympic. It could be an ugly ending here.
Well, not only
나오자마자 내쉬에 들어왔던 독가식입니다. WBC 라이트 프라이거 파이터 매치 챔피언인 장정구 선수와 도전자인 독가식이 카토 선수의 경기입니다. 나오자마자 내쉬에 들어왔던 독가식입니다. 서서히 거리 좁혀 들어오고 있는 독가식입니다. 아무래도 빠른 발을 이용해서 라이트 받아쳤던 장정구였습니다. 라이트 레프트 장정구 클리닉. 그러나 독가식이 물러서지 않습니다. 들어오다가 장정구 선수의 카운터를 몇 번 맞았습니다.
네, 적극적인 공격으로 임하고 있습니다.
오일영 씨 역시 예상했던 대로 독가식이는 그 빠른 발을 이용해서 먼저 선제 공세를 취하고 있죠.
네.
1회전 경기 진행되고 있습니다. 포항 실내체육관으로부터 전국에 직접 중계방송 해드리고 있습니다. 레프트를 툭툭 던지는 장정구 선수입니다. 자, 완전히 가드를 내리는 장정구 선수 여유를 보이고 있습니다. 2회전 경기가 진행되고 있습니다. 크런치 됐습니다. 1회전에서 무척 그 신경전을 펴고 있습니다.
그렇습니다.
일단 그 정신적으로 압도한다는 게 굉장히 중요하지 않습니까? 서서히 다가서고 있는 독가식이